Hello, staff, and welcome to another Monday morning message. As always, touch base on some upcoming events that we have. The first will be Monday and Tuesday night from 3 to 7 o'clock. We have parent-teacher conferences. It's my hope that you've been communicating this with your students. I know some of you have some extracurricular activities that you're a part of, and I hope that you've communicated what times you will be available to your parents if you're not available from 3 to 7 on that night. On Monday, we will provide you with something to eat, and on Tuesday, one of our Webb City Cares partners will be providing coffee to not only to you, but to the parents that are attending on that night as well. The trade-off for having parent-teacher conferences and having to work till 7 o'clock on Monday and Tuesday is that there's no school on Friday, so it will give you the chance to enjoy a 3-day weekend, relax a little bit, and spend some time with those that you might love. Grade checks should go out during homeroom today. This is also the second quarter ineligibility grade check, so make sure you're communicating to your students in regards to that. Ms. Ponce has shared an ineligibility list with you. Make sure that you take a look at that. One item for your juniors in homeroom, if you could let them know that Wade from Balfour will be here on Thursday during lunch to hand out class rings for those that ordered them. Again, that's Thursday during lunch for anybody that ordered class rings. October 31st, although it's not this week, it is coming up, and it's an early out, so I wanted to get this out as soon as we could. We'll dismiss by intercom on that day, probably somewhere around 12:35. One of the questions we always get is buses, and what's that going to look like? Buses will run in normal order, and they will also be here around 12:35 as well. That afternoon, you will get to spend time in your collaborative teams. We as the administrative team do not have anything planned for you during that time, so that will be time for you to spend with your collaborative teams. The Pledge of Allegiance. This is something that was brought to my attention, and honestly probably my mistake in regards to not knowing what we're currently practicing. It is our school's duty to make sure that the pledge is recited at least once per school day. I'm not sure what you're currently practicing in your class, but please see to it that you're reciting it at least once per day. If I could make a recommendation, it would be the first thing that we do in the morning. I'm certainly not telling you that's when you have to do it. I do know that ROTC assists us with that on Mondays, and so on those other days, make sure that you're continuing to provide that opportunity for your students. Also, in regards to the pledge, I've heard from a couple of teachers that they've had students that have just sat down during the pledge and have not recited the pledge. Unfortunately, this is something that we can't make a student do. I'm confident that that with the things that our students are seeing on TV or hearing on the news or talking to other people about on social media, I'm confident that we will continue to have students that want to try to exercise that right, and that is their right. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page in regards to that, and I do appreciate your attention to it. Last couple of weeks, we spent some time on the mission statement, and I appreciate all the feedback that was received through the form that was shared out with you. I haven't gotten an opportunity to make it through all that feedback yet, but I will do so, and I will also share with the other three principals here. And we'll continue down the road in regards to our mission statement as the weeks continue. I know it is a long week. I'm going to leave you with this quote. Teach in such a way that every student in your class looks at you and says, I want to do that when I grow up. I appreciate each of you, and I hope that all of you have a wonderful week.